Hello viewers, Super GT here. Welcome back. Okay, we're going to take a look at the forgotten circuit of Gran Turismo Sport. Circuit de Sainte Croix A II. Yes, this is a track that was added in 2018, but since then it has not been a daily race. It has been an FIA race, just the once, if memory serves me correctly. Let's take a look at the track. It's a fairly long one. I think it's about 6 miles. 3-minute lap time. Well, depends how good you are, I suppose, doesn't it? But let's take a quick little look at it. Some of the most notable corners. So fairly long track. I think it's like a good 19-20 corners. This one here is a rather peculiar one. Very long left-hander. Does seem to go on for something resembling eternity. A couple of apexes and then it leads into this very slow chicane. Probably the slowest corners on the track, or one of. And then you end up on the bridge, the good old Sainte Croix bridge. Then you've got this fast sweeping right which comes up. Boom, we go through there just fine. Then this leads on to a very fast sweeping left-hander over a bump on the braking, and then you come back for this very late apex, and you see just how wide the track is. This is one of the things about this location. The track, very, very wide indeed, and it lends itself to very good racing. Because Sainte Croix, however you say it, it has come up a fair amount recently actually, just not this exact circuit. Because the location has 6 circuits, but this exact one has not come up in a very long time. 3:03.4, I was pretty happy with that time, but we'll see where we are on the grid for the race. It's going to be a 7th, so not too bad. We're going to kick things off with a decent mid-grid. There we are. Let's have a look at the order there. Thunder's going with the Lamborghini Huracan, which is very quick, but just fairly tricky to drive. If you can master that car, then you're in a good place. So, the race is underway. 6 laps of this track. We're looking at about 18 minutes of racing. Everyone warming up their tyres on the run-in to turn number 1. Now, there's many reasons why this location provides such good racing. Lots of long straights, and therefore slipstream opportunities. And as I mentioned, the track width is fairly wide, which means you can really get 4 or 5 abreast if you really wanted to. But it just lends itself to lots of overtaking. Lots of big braking zones as well. So it's a good mix. It's a shame they haven't used this track really at all since this game came out. I do believe that the FIA race that they did was actually the same track but the other way round. So this exact configuration really just has not been used at all, which is a shame because, as this race will show, it's a very, very good circuit. So heading over the bridge, guy behind there just getting a penalty. Very easy to do that on that chicane just before the bridge. So up behind Flash Dagger here, 666. We're going to send up the inside into the hairpin. It's not quite going to work, and he's going to keep that around the outside. Guess quite a slow exit, and I can't really capitalise here. This corner here, very much a single file corner. You don't really want to go through here side by side. You're going to lose so much time. You're better off filtering in and then going for the move afterwards, which is what we're going to try and do here. Down the back straight towards the long looping left. This probably won't work because I'm on the outside here. And if anything, if you take a look at the radar, we are very much under threat from losing another position here to the Spaniard just behind. We're going to try and push around the outside. And this is the thing again, we're side by side here, but you can very much do this around this track. Racing side by side is one of the hallmarks of this circuit. So very good stuff there. A little bit deep into this one. We're going to come back for that late apex. And we're going to pretend to go right, then cut left, because that's going to give us the inside for this next corner. Driver just behind there, the Czech driver, serving a penalty that he got just before the bridge and losing a position. We're going to gain one though, up into 5th. 5 seconds behind the leader at this point already. And the main issue really is that we've lost the toe to the cars in front. And that can be very crucial around this lap. As I said, lots of long straights. Therefore, you do want to be in the toe as long as possible. You can gain many tenths. I won't give you an exact figure, but it's more than 1/10 a lap. So coming now towards the final corner on the lap, just trying to break away from this group behind. Once I get swallowed up by that group, things will not be very pleasant indeed. We hit the wall on the exit there of the final corner, so our quest to escape isn't quite going to be helped by that. We crossed the line. We started 7th. We've gained 2. So, I mean, it could be worse. It could be worse. We could have gained 1, or we could have gained none, or we could have lost positions. Those are the other possibilities. But we continue here in 5th, 6 seconds behind the leader. He's really extending that gap rather quickly. But we're really taking a look here at 3rd and 4th, who are battling fairly close just in front. And what we need is for those two to start going hammer and tong and into the barrier, ideally. But we'll see if that happens. A little bit wide there. Oh my goodness, a couple of cars off onto the grass, into the barrier just behind. So the big chasing pack behind is getting reduced in number. Down the bridge, so Flash Dagger just following us through here, and then the group behind just really falling apart there. There were 5 strong barely half a lap ago. Down the right-hander after the bridge, and then you've got this very slow hairpin. I think this is the slowest corner on the circuit. Let's see how many miles an hour we go down to. 56 miles an hour through the slowest point there. I think that is the slowest corner on the circuit. We'll see if I'm wrong about that. I'm pretty sure that's right. Maybe the chicane before the bridge. Let's have a look later. So down the back straight, we're going to whip it forward a little bit there. Gap to the guys in front, 3 seconds. But this is where this race really changed, because I thought this race might be a bit dull from here to the end, seeing as I'm in my own little pocket of space. But we're gonna look ahead here. This is PX7 wheeling, and he just makes this classic error. This corner is it's very easy to do that into that corner. Hence the yellow flag that we just get now. And he's just going to get reset just in front of us. Luckily, stays as a ghost, and I go through him up into 4th. So this is really a very good chance to capitalise on the mistake of a faster driver, qualified 2nd on the grid, and his time was certainly a lot better than mine. So we're going to try and capitalise on that. And also, you might notice the gap to the Polish driver just in front is a lot smaller than it was, so I think he made a mistake too. Perhaps distracted by Wheeling's excursion into the barrier. And he's actually made an excursion of his own into the barrier there. So we've really flipped this race on its head in the space of this lap. Just shows you mustn't give up, because you never know what might happen. So Wheeling's just going to try and recover now and get back into the race after that catastrophic mistake. So on the exit of the final corner, lap number 2, we are 33% done in the race. Polish driver going to move to the side and then move back. I'm going to go for this move. This is what we mean. Long straights, slipstream, lends itself to overtaking. I'll go a little bit deep here. Don't get on the power as early as I would like. So I stay to the right-hand side to cover the inside. Wheeling here, just watching in anticipation of what is about to happen next into the following right-hander. And we get through there just fine. Now coming up into the long left. Cuba going to nip up the inside. It's a good move. Is it going to work? Not quite. But you do have to take the wide line in to get the right apex there. But he just nipped up the inside. Didn't quite work out for him. In fact, he's going to lose position here possibly to Wheeling, who actually makes a mistake and then has contact with Flash Dagger and gets shuffled down the deck. So he ends up looking like he could have gone for 4th, but now finds himself in 6th. I'm in the podium position here, up into 3rd. So this has been a fairly good start so far. We started 7th, up into 3rd. And Wheeling just going to make another big mistake there. Perhaps dirty tyres. Did not want to cooperate on the way into that corner. And he finds himself making another trip into Barry R. Barry R, very, very busy today, with lots of visitors, it seems. Through this fast right. Going to get a nice run through there. And in fact, Cuba just behind didn't quite get the run he would have liked, so I'm not particularly vulnerable here going into this left-hander hit. 2.1 or 2.2 seconds away from the Frenchman just in front, who is on home soil. So we're going to try and reduce that deficit the best we can. So second is very much on here. And this is very much one of those races where if you just keep clean and consistent, especially on a race that's going to last near enough 20 minutes, then there's very much a chance to finish in a higher position than you might otherwise have done. We're certainly capitalising on Wheeling's mistakes so far. And that means, yeah, we can finish higher than we probably ought to. Finish higher than your pace might suggest, which is always a good thing. Now, I do just want to say a big thank you to those who have looked at the Clips channel. I'll link it again in the description if you want to take a look at it. We've hit 10,000 subscribers already, and it's not even been a month since I started the channel. So all good on that front. So thank you for having a look at that and subscribing and watching. Hope you're enjoying the clips. But back to the race here. I'm just trying to move aside from the racing line to not give Kuba too much slipstream. He is within the magical 3/4 of a second zone, and in fact I really did not take that final corner all that well, and he's going to gain a lot down the main straight. Into turn one, we've done half the race now, a little bit wider the apex, and absolutely maximising track width on the entry, on the apex, on the exit is so crucial here, because you can gain so much speed by doing so. So Kuba very much on our tail now, and look at that, a little bit too wide, and this is the problem. As this was my first time doing this race, we are now beginning to experience the phenomenon known as tyre wear, which makes the car really just not want to cooperate when you turn the steering wheel. And into the slow right-hand turn here, into the left, and onto the bridge for the fourth time. 11.7 seconds away from Thunders in the lead. He is thundering away to this race victory. And Kuba going with the bump draft there, not opting to go past. So you do have to be fairly tactical with your overtaking on this track, because there are so many opportunities. Sometimes it's best just to hang behind, hang behind, wait for the better opportunity. If you go for it too soon, you know, they'll just come straight back at you. So wheeling now on the wheel tracks of the Italian and the British driver there. So he's going to try to recover for the second time in this race. So we're sitting in a good position here. I would say that Lost Rider there in second has got the better measure of us, and it probably has opened up, I think, about 3/4 of a second on this lap so far. So Kuba here goes for the overtake. I'm not going to fight it, because I thought at this point I was still fairly concerned with the guys behind, because they're only 1.5 seconds behind, and I knew Wheeling was certainly very quick. He's having a bit of trouble here trying to go past the Italian driver. And is he going to get that done? I think he is. Yes, he moved up into 6th place. So you still got to be wary of, you know, a faster driver. Sometimes a very quick guy will start at the front, they'll make a mistake, they'll fall back, but you mustn't just eliminate them from the equation. They're still very much in the race, and it's only got to, you know, they've only got to put together 2 very quick laps, and they could be straight back on you again. So we've got to play this one fairly tactically with Kuba here. He went for the move. I'm not going to fight him too much at this point. But we've still got 2 laps left to go. We've still got more than 6 minutes of racing, which is plenty of time for Wheeling to catch up, just a couple of seconds. So we're going to play this one nice and tactically. Just sit in the wheel tracks here of the Polish driver and not fight too much. We can do our fighting on lap 6. So here, just backing off the power, just making sure that he knows, you know, I'm not going to go for the move here. Into the final turn, just dipping 2 wheels well inside the green area there, but as long as you've got 2 on the circuit, then the stewards will look upon you very favourably. Crossing the line, and here we go, just going to back off again, just telling him, look, just take the racing line. Every time we go off the racing line, we're slowing each other down, so let's work together now for at least lap 5, and then we can do our combat on the final lap. Looking at the back of shot there, Wheeling now looking for 5th place against Flash Dagger, who's pretty much just dropped off on this lap. and isn't looking like the main threat to my position. So we are 2.1 seconds ahead of Wheeling, which might seem comfortable, but he was very quick. So it's never going to be completely comfortable, especially on a track of this length. Very, very long track. One of the longer ones in the game. I would like to know your opinion on this track, because I think when it came out, when it was first released, I think it was about June, July 2018 is when this track was released onto the game. It's not been in a previous Gran Turismo, so it is new to the series. But I think it met some fairly mixed reviews. What I would say, I think perhaps the scenery, I mean, those mountains there are rather beautiful, but I think the drab sort of barriers surrounding the circuit didn't make it look too enticing. But I would say that the racing around this track has always been very good. Around Sainte Croix, around all of the configurations, as I've said, of course. This configuration has very rarely ever been used. But judging by this race alone, it is a very good track for racing. And yeah, just let me know your opinions on it, because I actually think it's a very good track. I think it's a very, very good track. And once again, hats off to the staff at Polyphony Digital who create these fictional circuits, because I think they do a very good job on them on the whole. So, what's the situation now? 1 and, let's say, a third laps remaining. In fact, it was a third, because we've just done 2 minutes of that lap, 1 minute of this lap remaining, and then the final lap. Wheeling there now 1.2 seconds behind. Okay, so he's definitely gaining. He's definitely quicker. Obviously has a grasp of the tyres. In fact, his tyre wear is considerably better than mine. So I think perhaps didn't move my brake bias to the back early enough. You might have seen that I've been switching it slowly. Started on 2 to the back, and we're currently on 4 to the back. So I do think you need to alter that. Maybe 3 for the whole race would be a fairer compromise. So Kuba just beginning to edge clear slightly here. Half a second ahead. I just have to make sure that that gap does not drop, or does not go above 3/4 of a second, then I should be okay. Just we have to absolutely maximise and capitalise on slipstream as much as possible. So Wheeling here, looking very, very good. He's still got 1 lap left to catch up, and 1 second of a gap to catch. Of course, he only has to gain 1/4 of a second, and he's in the slipstream. Kuba there making a very big mistake on the exit of turn 1. He's not going to fight this one, so okay, I'm going to go up the inside. I'm going to take 3rd place back, and I think this is coming at a very good time, given that Wheeling is just coming back into the picture. So now I think I can just try and really park this car in the apex. Park it nice and narrow on every corner. You can realistically defend for a lap. So it's going to be tricky to do, especially with the worn tyres now. Coming up into the chicane here. And we're going to go down into 54 miles an hour there. So maybe this is the slowest corner on the track. Although tyre wear might be a contributor of that. So now Kuba has got more than his hands full with Wheeling just behind him. This is good news for me. I need to capitalise on this moment here. As he goes for the move up the inside, it gets a little bit narrow, and the two of them make contact on the apex. This is going to mean that I can just pull away slightly from that battle. This is good. This is good timing. If those two can start fighting each other and become preoccupied with their fight, then I might be able to just slip away in the middle of the night and not be seen again. So through this right-hander, get it right. Yes, we can. Lovely stuff. The gap above 3/4 of a second. I've just got out of the slipstream, so they're not going to be getting the toe down this long back straight. So that's a couple of attempts I'm going to save. Wheeling crossing over from the right to the left. That's going to be, of course, the inside for this left-hander here. People are going to try and fight it. It's not going to work, though, as they're Wheeling up into 4th. Now, the gap there, what is the gap? 8 tenths. So this isn't over, because there's still opportunities for slipstream. I could get slipstreamed even up into the run-up to the finish line if I don't get a good exit from the final corner. That's a little bit wider than I would have liked through there. And a bit of a squirm on the exit for good measure. Wheeling there 5 tenths behind. And he's only got to find a couple more tenths, and he's really within the proper realms of slipstream. So I've got to make sure that these corners here are taken rather nicely. He takes a huge chunk of time on the way in. I think I've been a little bit too clever with my entry speeds, and I think you can actually really throw the car in quite aggressively. This GTR does. It's a bit of a blocky old car, but once you do throw it in, you know, it does grip. So we're through the exit of the second to last corner. Is he close enough? He's less than 4 tenths behind. I need to make sure I get this final corner dead right, otherwise he's going to slipstream me up to the finish line. So through the final corner, not the best I've ever taken it, and he is very close in the radar. Let's have a look now. On the run up to the line, thankfully it's a short run. I am going to finish in 3rd place. So there we go, crossing the line, starting 7th, finishing 3rd, and I think that was a really good race. Managed to capitalise on Wheeling's mistakes earlier in the race. Couldn't quite cope with the guy in 2nd, but that was a good battle. It's a good circuit. It's a shame it hasn't been used more in the game. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching as ever. Do subscribe if you enjoyed that video, and I'll catch you all very soon. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.